I'm Carrie Lynn, and anyone in our homecoming group knows the story. We're in the limo, we're in downtown Rochester, we're just leaving Cruz and Mir. And then we're in and we get like, what, a mile, 2 miles away? And we're like, oh my gosh, where's Dillon and Paul? We're like, they're not in the limo. They're like, oh, they're in the limo behind us, it's okay. But they weren't in that one either. So then we have to fit our limo down this little like alleyway in downtown Rochester. And we finally get back close to Cruz and Mir, and you just see like Paul and Dillon, they're like, ah! Trying to get up to the limo, and it was so funny. I don't know. But I love him.
Hey, I'm Anders Reed, and I've known Dillon since 4th grade. And I remember one day during recess, Dillon and I were swinging on the swings, and we decided that it'd be a good idea that at the peak of our swing to kick our shoes off and see how far we could make them go. So I kicked mine off, and it just kind of landed in the wood chips or whatever. And Dillon kicked his off, and his absolutely flew and hit our parapro right in the head. So she's absolutely livid looking for us, and Dillon and I went in the woods for the rest of the recess and hid from her. And it's just, whenever I think about that, I always get laughing, and it brings a big smile on my face. I'll miss you, Dillon.
Hi, I'm Lauren. Dillon was such an enthusiastic person, and the one thing I'll never forget about him was when we were handing out our homecoming invitations to like give the info about our group and stuff. And everyone was like, all like, okay, cool, homecoming, yay, not really. But then Dillon was like, oh my goodness, thank you so much, like, yay. And he was like, he never like did not have a smile on his face, and he just, like, his enthusiasm was just astounding, so.
Hi, I'm Hannah, and me and Dillon were always texting all the time. I remember one time I was like watching this really sad movie at like Star Theater with like my friends, and I wasn't really paying attention because I was talking to Dillon the whole time. And he told me the funniest story, and I just started cracking up in front of everyone, and everyone like turned around and looked at me, and I was like, Dillon, they all just like looked at me and like started like getting mad that I was laughing. He was like, oh, Hannah, I'm just getting started. And he started like telling me the rest, like a ton more stories, and it was just bad because I had no idea what was going on in the movie. So.
Hi, I'm Sukman. I'm one of Dillon's friends. I was in that linebacker corps with him, and yeah, like every day he would work his butt off, just making me look bad, and I was like, all right, whatever. And one day we were at Beastmasters, and he's just running the stairs, and like, I don't know, it was just the amount of work he put in, like it would put me to shame, and I don't know, just he's the strongest person that I've ever met. And yeah.
Can I go right now? Hi, I'm Mrs. Couts. And seeing all of, where I'm a middle school teacher at Van Hoosen, and seeing these students stand up, and I'm not recognizing them until Chris says his name, and then Anders and Tyler. I never had Dillon in class, but I did have Mike, and I have Sean right now. And Mike and Sean and Sean still is a student council leader. And Dillon came up to me one time in middle school and said, I'm not going to do that because it's not my gig, so you know. And then I got Sean, so I was reintroduced to the Cope family. But my message is to Dillon. I'm hoping that Dillon knows, and I think he does, how amazing his friends are, because I remember the day that Dillon didn't come back to school in 8th grade. And whenever I tell somebody I'm a middle school teacher, the first thing that they say is, oh, I have one of those at home. And they're not very nice. And I would never teach anything but middle school. To see how the 8th grade students, especially the boys, got together, and I'll never forget, Tyler came to me about 4 days after Dillon didn't come back to school, and he had all this money. And he said, Mrs. Couts, I have all this money. We want to get Dillon a computer. What do I do with all this money? And it was a lot of money, like almost $1,000. So it was amazing to me in the video that you made. And Sarah was big on the video making on the IMAX. And immediately the DC t-shirts that came out, and I saw a couple of them this past week in school as well. Even though Dillon's at high school, they're supporting Sean. So you guys are truly amazing young human beings, and Dillon was very lucky to have you.
Okay, hi, I'm Lauren. I wasn't really planning on saying anything. I'm a grade older than Dillon, so I never got to know him like a lot of you guys did. But I just wanted to share a verse with you guys, and you guys have probably all heard it and you don't even know it. But John 3:16, and it says, God loved the world, and he gave his only son, for whoever believed in him will never die, but will have eternal life. And even though Dillon isn't able to be with us here anymore, he's still living his life up there, and I just encourage you all to live the way that he tried to live every day, with his courage and his determination. And yeah, thanks a lot, Dillon, for everything you've done.
I was one of Dillon's football coaches this year. We always talk about how football really makes the person. It was totally the opposite with him. He really made the team. It's just, I can't even express how fortunate we were as a team to watch him go through. At the beginning of the season, he could barely lift his legs over the agiles, and what you saw by the end of the season, he was making tackles. He's had an effect on all of us, and not just from an athletic standpoint. I'm looking at differently at how I teach students, how I deal with my family, how I raise my own boys, about the optimism that he had, the determination he had, the love that his family had. It was only a few short months, but it'll impact me for the rest of my life.
My name is Kenneth Knight. I used to know Dillon back in middle school when I first moved here in 6th grade. One thing I remember about Dillon the most was how he could light up any room with a smile. After I transferred high schools, I didn't really keep in touch with Dillon much, but he always had a way of keeping in touch with me. He would always text me randomly just to see how I was doing, and we'd talk for a little bit, but just whenever I came back to visiting my friends and seeing all you guys now, it just helps me remember that Dillon had an impact on all of us, and he was just a great person. I'm going to miss him a lot.
I'm Andy, and I play football with Dillon. I'm a year older. I'm a junior. And I remember that Beastmasters that he went to. I was there, and I was running up the stairs, going. And then all of a sudden, Dillon just passes me. And I was like, what? This kid's sick, and he's passing me. I don't understand how it can happen. So I get to the top, and I'm like, okay, if Dillon passed me, I can obviously run some more. So I just kept more and kept running. And he just put strength, encouraging me to keep running.